Hi, my name is Jalima Page. I'm Arnold Nichols' aunt. His mother was one of my younger sisters. On November the 28th, 1992, I decided to give my grandchildren, Ian and Inez Demas, a birthday party. I decided that on the 27th when I made the calls for everyone to attend. Arnold, I called my sister Osley, Arnold's mother, and I told her to bring the kids and to my house, or I was going to pick her up to come to my house because I was giving the twins their second birthday party. I went to Jamaica, Queens. I had with me my mom, my grandchildren, Ian and Inez, their siblings, Jasmine and Keenan, and we drove, and their mother, Veronica. We drove to Jamaica, Queens to pick up Arnold, my nephew, my daughter Leah, my niece Fabian, my niece Star, and my nephew Raheem. In the car, it was too many kids. It was too many people to get in the car. So the ones that came back with me was my sister Osley, my niece Star, and the rest of the kids that I had with me, which was the twins, my mother, and my other their siblings, Jasmine and Keenan. My daughter Leah and Arnold didn't have car fare, so I gave them $2 to get on the train, $1 each for them. They had to get on the train with Keenan, with Raheem and Fabian. They didn't have to pay because they were little. They got on the train. The party was supposed to start at 2 o'clock, but it started a little later. They got on the train. They got to the last stop on the L train and Rockaway Parkway. I sent my son, which was the twins' father, to go to Rockaway Parkway and pick them up. He brought Arnold, my daughter Leah, Raheem, and Fabian back with them. At my house, it was my sister-in-law Renee, who came with her husband, my brother Edward, their children, Danielle, Christopher, and dang, I can't even remember my niece's name. Danielle, Christopher, and Clarissa. Clarissa was a baby. She was younger. She was still, a baby. Anyway, we all had a party there. I sent my nephew, Arnold, to the store 3 times. The store was on the corner from where I lived. I sent him, the first time I sent him was for some potato chips and sodas. The second time I sent him was some paper plates for the ice cream. And the third time I was going to go to get me a pack of cigarettes, and he said, "No, Auntie, I'll go." So I sent him to the store. 3 times I sent him. The party went on. We took pictures. We had fun. At the house was William Cherry, my grandkids' grandmother, Margaret Biggers, my son, his ex-wife Veronica, the twins, my brother Edward, my sister-in-law Renee, their children, and my daughter and Arnold, and my sister Osley, and Raheem and Fabian, and Star. They left at 8 o'clock because it was a Sunday and the rest other kids had to be to school that Monday. My daughter, my sister Osley and Star rode in the car with my brother Edward and his children. My and I believe my Raheem. My son James took my daughter Leah, my nephew Arnold, and my other nephew Fabian, Raheem. Took them home. They all was one behind the other. They got close, met up at Osley's house. They parked there and let everybody out, and then my brother Edward and his wife went home, and my son and his wife and the twins and the other kids, they went home because they lived out in Queens also. They didn't live too far from each other. They left at 8 o'clock.
Stop.
They left at 8 o'clock at night. They left at 8. When everyone got home, they called me and told me they were home safely. My grandkids' grandmother left before everybody because she had just came from work and had to go back, I believe. And there was no one, the only two that was left in the house was William Cherry and myself. Now, Arnold, this was on November the 28th in 1993. Because the twins made 2 years old.
Say that again. This was November 28th.
This was November 28th, 1993.
Question: Who is Star? Who's Star?
Letitia Star is my baby sister Alberta, baby daughter.
Okay, so this was November 28th, 1993.
Right.
What was the significance of November 28th?
November 28th was my grandkids, Inez and Ian's birthday. It was their second birthday.
So so there was a function, a party, or whatever,
right,
for the birthday. Anthony and Arnold are twins.
Exactly.
Are you sure it wasn't Anthony?
Unless Anthony escaped from where he was, because he was upstate. He was away.
Let's start that again. Are you sure it wasn't Anthony? And you're saying that Anthony was in jail at the time. He was in prison at the time.
Now I'm positive.
Which prison was he in? Do you know?
I don't know which prison he was in, but I know he was upstate.
So once again, we want to say. Go. Start with Anthony. So why are you sure that it was Anthony and Arnold are twins? And you're sure that it was Arnold and not Anthony?
I'm positive that it was Arnold and not Anthony, because Anthony was upstate. He was upstate New York. I knew he was away. I can't exactly say when, but I knew he was away. And I know Anthony and Arnold, they're twins. And I knew them since they were born. Anthony and Arnold. I could tell the difference between Anthony and Arnold. Always could. Okay? I could always tell the difference.
Okay. So we understand that the crime happened in Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio.
And Arnold did go to Ohio because obviously he was picked up in Ohio. Mm-hmm. When did Arnold leave New York to go to Ohio?
I believe it was sometime in March. I'm not sure if it was March 7th, but I believe it was in March, because in 1992, one of my other nephews that live in Columbus, Ohio, James Bannerman, was getting married. That's how Arnold got to, he didn't familiarize himself. Him, my sister, my mother, and the family went to Columbus, Ohio. For what I understand, James had asked Arnold to come down, saying that, if you come down, I could get you a job. That's how he got to go to Ohio because James promised him, you know, if you come down, you know, and get yourself together, you know, I'll get you a job and all of that. He came down in March and he took the bus. He came to my house because I was holding the bus fare. And he came to my house to get the money. Him and his, at the time, his girlfriend Sandy. That's how he got to go down to Ohio.
You said it was the birthday party for Ian and Inez, who are also twins.
Right.
Fraternal brother and sister.
Right.
1993. How old were they?
They made 2 years old.
They made 2 years old.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Go.
Okay, on the 27th, I was standing at my kitchen sink washing dishes. It was 8 o'clock at night. And I was washing dishes because I had just finished, you know, the dinner dishes. And I called up my son. The twins' mother answered, Veronica, and I asked her what tomorrow. I said to her, tomorrow's the twins' birthday. What are you gonna do? And she said to me, oh, we're just gonna buy them a little ice cream and cake. And I said, no, bring them over here. I'm gonna give them a little party. And she said, oh, okay. And that's how it all started. So in the meantime, I started calling my brother Edward and his wife to bring his kids. I called my sister Osley and told her to tell my daughter and Arnold, you know, and the kids, and bring the kids, and how we were gonna do it. That's how this all got started.
So, according to what you're saying, is that Arnold was not in Ohio until March.
Right, sometime in March, I believe.
Previous November, there was a party. When did the crime take place?
For what I understand, the crime took place November the 28th, the same day as the party.
Okay. Okay.
This is what I understand. On November 28th, this is what happened. He can't be two places at one time. And he was in my house.
So from November to March, you know that he was in New York.
I know he was in New York.
November he was at the party.
Exactly.
And in March he went to your house to get the bus fare.
That's right.
How much was the bus fare?
I think it was $100. I'm saying it was $106 or $100. I know it was $100 and something dollars, $6-7.
Did you give him?
I gave him the month, the $100 and what did I give him? $110, something like that. I gave him the money. I was holding the money because he brought it to me. Yeah.
I'll just let you talk and then I'll ask you questions.
Only trouble, I think it had something to do with drugs. Okay, crack cocaine or you know, and I never heard, he never got arrested. He got arrested for drugs. He never got arrested, and I'm not sure, but something about child support. But it was nothing. He never got arrested for holding somebody up that I know of. He never got arrested for shooting somebody because he never had a gun, and then he never liked guns. This is what I understood, that I know about him.
Was he in a gang at all, ever growing up?
No, he was never in a gang.
Did he ever get arrested for robbery?
No, not that I know of.
Did he ever get arrested for assault?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. All right.
Not that I know of.
So any trouble that he's had, it's just been drugs?
It's just been
was it
basically
drug selling, or was it
I guess I'm not sure if it was selling or it being on him.
just possession?
Yeah, possession, right.
Okay.
I'm not sure which is it.
Okay.
But I know that I know for a fact that when he decided to turn his life around to go to Ohio, he was straight. He truly was straight.
Why did he want to go to Ohio?
So he figured that if he turned his life around, he would be, it would be something better, like when people are on drugs, a lot of times they like to go away from people, places, and things. They want to change, okay? And since my other nephew promised him that he, you know, he would be able to change if he came down there because he's going to help him out. So he said, okay, because he couldn't get it, you know, the way he wanted up here. Okay, so he took that chance, and that's why he went to Ohio. But he didn't run from anything. He a matter of fact, as far as I know, he asked he was on parole or probation. He was on parole, and his parole officer even came down to court and vouched for him because he got in touch with her. Mm-hmm. And his parole officer came down and she said he was there, as far as I know. The thing about this is they keep saying, how do you know it wasn't Anthony? And because they're identical twins, whereas nobody bothered to look up to find out where Anthony was. We're telling them where Anthony was. So that's how, you know, we know where Anthony was. And I know the difference between Anthony and Arnold. And I'm sorry, unless Arnold's body, spirit left his body and went to Ohio, and his body's walking around going to the store for me 3 times in one night, then, you know, he can't be 2 places at one time and I'll die on my dying breath days. This man was not in Ohio. He was not in Columbus, Ohio. He was in my house at a birthday party for my grandchildren that I gave, who made 2 years old, my first grands. And that's where he was at. I think, and I told that to the prosecutor, and I told that to everybody that I could tell, to, you know, that questioned me. He can't be 2 places at one time. He can't be. He was in my house. I knew where he was at. I know where he's at. And I don't have, and for me to go 1,000 miles to lie for somebody, that's crazy. Nobody looks that good to me. 1,000 miles. I will not lie. This is something serious. I will not lie for no one like that. I have 2 children of my own, and they know me very well. You know, so I know where Arnold was.
Okay. All right, so in your words, from what you understand, you tell me what you understand happened on the case.
To my understanding, it was supposed to have been at night. Snow was on the ground. Okay, Arnold was in the car or driving. I don't know. You know, they got so many stories. First of all, he didn't know how to drive, number 1. Number 2, he didn't know anything about Columbus, Ohio. Okay? That's number 2. Number 3, you tell me what person in their right mind that's going to take $100 or $106 or spend, someone that's on drugs, gonna take that kind of money to go to a state they know nothing about, don't know where they at, know nothing about, to rob somebody for $3, and this is what I was told, and shoot somebody for what? And also Arnold stood in Mr. Parker's face and said to him, "I'm sorry for what happened to you. From the bottom of my heart, I'm truly sorry, but I didn't do this to you." And that's what Arnold told him. He said, "I'm sorry."
What happened to the man?
The man got shot in the neck.
It was a carjacking?
It was a robbery. A robbery.
Okay.
And his girlfriend was on the other side, for what I understand. She couldn't even identify who it was.
The man, so they were driving down the street.
No, they were parking. I think it happened in front of her house or his house. It happened in front of a house when they stopped.
Okay.
All I know is however it happened, it was snow on the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand that the guy who did it supposedly had a hoodie on or something.
Yeah, right.
It was snowing. It was night.
Yes.
Right.
Pitch dark.
The guy had a hood on.
Right.
Okay.
Right. They got fingerprints that ain't Arnold's.
Okay.
Okay? The girlfriend, they went out, supposed to went to dinner. The girlfriend couldn't even identify Arnold. Okay? I said the reason why she couldn't identify Arnold was because Arnold wasn't there. And the picture that they showed that was supposed to be Arnold's when he was a kid. When he was, that picture. And then at the court, they said he was bald-headed. Arnold never had his hair cut. They mentioned that he was bald-headed. They said he was 180 pounds. If he was 105 pounds, for what I understand, he was 135 pounds soaking wet. Okay?
How tall is Arnold?
I don't know. Arnold's about 5'7" or 8", something like that. Yeah. He's not a tall. What they have down there is not Arnold. But what I really want to say is that during the time that Arnold got arrested for something that he didn't do, the reason why I said that's a setup, because the prosecutor, when he had his grand jury, and I got it in black and white, when she said this is not going to be another O.J. Simpson's case. So she was out to get anybody. She didn't look for the truth. She wasn't looking for the truth. She didn't ask for the truth. She was looking for anybody. And then had the nerve to come out of the courtroom after testimony was set. My daughter, my son, myself, and said to my family, my sister and us, said to all New Yorkers are liars. Now, that right there could tell you something. You calling all of us, you said all New Yorkers are liars? And that's what she said. She didn't believe nothing. You would do anything for. You love the twins because I'm a twin. I'm a twinless twin. I like to think I love all my nieces and nephews, and that's what I said. I like to think I love them all, but I ain't gonna go 1,000 miles to lie for them. I am not going to do that. Yep, and that's what happened. Arnold can't be two places at one time. He cannot be in my house looking at me, going to the store for me, and in Ohio shooting somebody for $3. That's crazy. So he was falsely convicted. He was and the prosecutor know it.
Again, can you tell me let me just. Can you just state the address of the place where the party took place?
965 East 56th Street between Avenue H and I, Brooklyn, New York, 11234.
Okay, tell me about the detective.
The Detective Redmond, claimed that he came to my house, and he never did. He claimed that he went to my brother Edward and his wife's house. He never did.
Oh, stop. Go.
Detective Redmond claimed that he went to all Arnold's witnesses' houses. I know that the only two houses I know he went to was my ex-daughter-in-law's house when she was with her now ex-husband again, and he told her not to get involved because she knew what was going on, and my mother's house. When he went to my mother's house, he asked my mother when was the last time she saw Arnold, and she said she saw Arnold the week before he got there. My mom at the time had Alzheimer's. She had a home care attendant there with her.
What's your mother's name?
Jalima Page Jones.
What's your name?
Jalima Page.
Okay. When did your mother come down with Alzheimer's?
In the 80s, in 1980, in the 80s, in the late 80s.
All right.
you this. I got his minutes from the grand jury. His lawyer, okay? I wrote her a letter. Everything I told you, I told her. Okay? Everything I told you, I told her. The same thing. I told her from day one. I told her times. I wrote her letters. I told it to her on the phone, and I wrote letters, the letter, and sent it to her. I'm 70 years old now, okay? And I remember this as if it would happen to me yesterday, as if it happened yesterday. At that time, I was in my 40s, I think. You know? I'm 70 years old now, and I still remember what happened to this day. I don't care what nobody say. This is what happened. Arnold can't be two places at one time.
All right.
That's it, and that's all. And if if she see it, the lawyer see it, she gonna turn around and tell you. She said that she questions people to time, you know, from one time to the other, to see if the stories change. That's what she want to see. That's why she believes Arnold, to see if the story change. She said, your story hasn't changed one bit. My story, the truth, you can't change the truth. Okay? My story hasn't changed since day one. Arnold can't be. I think her name is Lori? No. Adrian, I think.
Okay, don't worry about it.